Administrative report. We have pension plan deposit correction, authorized signer. So this is where our accountant, he caught where some things were not being handled correctly at the bank, gotten wrong accounts, and it was on the bank's end. So he sent the letter, he sent the figures of how they should be corrected to the bank, and they're working on that, but they need an authorized letter.
They asked me to sign a letter, and I said, not until I take it before the board, so.
So Jeffrey has, in your laptop, there's all the figures that he is sending over to them, telling them, hey, this went into this wrong account, you need to get this switched over here to fix it. And he detailed it, and Joe needs to sign a letter, but she wouldn't do it until before the board.
If the treasurer were here, he would probably explain that what happened was last year during COVID, the bank called him, said for the pension fund checks, send it to this, it was like a
They
a
switched the
box.
addresses on.
Right, because no one was working in the office.
Right, so when it went to the new addresses, they started depositing all in the same fund,
Yeah,
and they weren't splitting it out like his detailed report said to split them out.
right.
So he caught that, and they gotta go back and they gotta switch everything back. And everyone's been notified that it affected, correct? Or,
I don't think the treasurer has sent that yet.
no, okay,
No. We want the money to come out of the police pension fund, do the transfer over to the right side of BB&T. And the treasurer's gonna help us get the list for each employee
Okay.
and how much is gonna go into their fund.
Yeah,
Alright.
I think we need to reach out to the employees and let them know what happened,
Mhm.
I mean, without doubt.
Okay,
It
so-
was ununiform.
non-union, yeah. So, I'd like to get that letter to the bank so they can start making these corrections, and then we need to do the letter up and let the employees know.
Yeah, we want them to know how much.
Okay, so that's what you're waiting for confirmation on the,
I'm okay with Jim signing that letter.
So it's taken care of.
and then once you get that confirmation, then we'll do official letters to all the employees, so it's in writing, showing that this was done, it's corrected, these are the amounts, this is what's gonna go in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is everyone all right with
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Do we need anything additional with that information?
Oh, good.
No? Penn Teledata, 3-year internet contract.
Penn Teledata recommends that the township do the 3-year contract, saves $40 a month. That's all it takes, is just getting the paperwork signed.
No, we have no issues with Penn Teledata.
No.
Do we have my short?
No, I mean, I actually switched to them, they were better than what was out there. Anyone wanna make a motion to?
Is that just
3-year?
for the building?
That's other maintenance in here.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all those in favor?
Or-
Aye. Banners program, winter season proposal.
Nothing right now, I'm waiting for the end of the day.
Carnival and anniversary update.
I'm waiting on Jeffrey to come back with his figures, other than that, I mean, pretty much on hold till after the first of the year.
Okay. Maintenance department, monthly report.
I don't have anything to add to that.
Okay. New truck delivery update.
We did receive notice from Bob Fisher, the new truck that we received, the new one that they're supposed to be replacing September 1st, hasn't been delivered. Mr. Brown received a copy of that letter, so I don't know whether there's changes to that resolution or not.
Okay. Township building door entry system, cost estimate.
I have some figures, and the bottom line is Clem's Lock and Key will come down and review this for us. He gets $60 to come and $75 an hour while he's here. So the initial call is $130, and then I feel it's imperative that we kinda get down to a nitty-gritty of what we really want. He recommends we do not, the front doors, we were talking about putting a number system on instead of having hard keys distributed. He doesn't recommend that we do that. Keep it very simple, putting a mechanical lock on there with a number pad. First off, it's prohibitively expensive, we're looking at $1,000 a door.
Okay, I thought we were just talking about the park and rec to get into theirs
This is,
and the inside here.
so then we're working on a master key system here where we have a lock set, and then we have various subs that open certain doors. trying to figure that system out since we don't have blueprints for what door 11 is. Means somebody's gotta walk around with every key and open it. This is very intense what we're trying to do here. That's why I say it really needs to be researched and thought out before we jump. Giving Terry a hard key for the Parks and Rec room downstairs wouldn't be an issue. Just getting through the social hall to get to it is very easy at this point. But when you start bringing the lock guy down here, that it gets, I don't wanna say expensive, but this is a major project, and I kinda need to know where you just wanna go, because
Okay, right now, the major thing is Park and Rec getting into that room. Is
Yeah, I
that
thought
right?
they had a key to the
You have,
Park and Rec
We have a
room.
key to the room,
Right.
and just when the social hall was
Gotta
locked.
get
The email I sent you said that the door's
It's
open.
on the-
It's broke. It's not locking. The social.
So
Okay,
from the
okay.
social hall into the hallway, you can get in there? Cause that's a key that, I don't think any of us, you probably know that.
I don't have a key for that. I get locked in here and have to call people to open doors for me. It's a mess. It really is a mess.
Okay.
And it's just, we've tried to come up with something simple. That's why, like, take Jones' door, for example, instead of having that key the same as this or that, we just put a keypad on it.
right,
But they're impossible to get it, and you're looking at $800 a door to start
Yeah,
putting them on it,
it's
and
not worth it.
and I just thought that this is getting crazy expensive in a hurry, and I didn't know where you just wanted to go. I do feel that we need to do something exterior. There's a Knox box here, the fire department, you can have that open and get in here in an emergency. There's a key for that in every truck and every chief's vehicle. So in an emergency, one of them could open this.
Okay,
Once we're in here, you could get the social hall open in an emergency and let people start coming in if we're all busy. If you come and the power is out, we could do something to get a hard key outside, a high key of some kind.
okay.
That would be my suggestion. But everything else just gets very, very difficult to
Okay,
figure
so
out.
for now, we're good. Emergency situation, we're good, they can get in.
Fire can get in.
Park and Rec can get to where they need now because that door is. open
My
anyway.
My only concern is getting us a key outside that if you show up here, the power's out, the generator won't start, didn't work, mechanical failure, and you need a hard key to open an exterior door.
Okay, so is that as simple as like the real estate lockbox?
Something of that,
Keep
long
that
that
in there.
eight fastened on the wall out here with a
Right.
keypad, that we get the mechanical key out,
Yep.
open the door and put it back, instead of distributing that
Okay.
key.
Are you
That's my
okay with
answer to
that?
that.
I mean, it seems as simple as probably the cheapest and.
Now, do we need one for the police department as well?
There is one there.
Oh, is there?
There is one there. We had an officer lock himself out a number of years ago, so
All
we
right,
did
so
put one outside there for that.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with
Yeah.
putting one up.
Well, that's my answer to that,
Okay.
would be to do that for right now, and if you choose to do something, there's some other avenues, but this isn't a $500 fix, this is thousands.
Okay.
And
Alright. Morgantown sign, ready for installation.
Okay, I picked the Welcome to Morgantown sign up that previously was installed in front of Pizza Hut. Now it's Baskin Robbins, what is it up there?
Boston.
Boston
Market.
Sorry. That sign hasn't been up there in 5 years. So wherever it is you'd like to put it, I'm gonna suggest we reach out to the property owner, find out whether they want it back.
Well, we had it right there by the old mill property, right?
No, it was up in front of,
Yeah, it was right in front of
Pizza.
Pizza Hut.
in front of Pizza.
And thank goodness it hasn't been there, because you won't be able to read it.
Well, and it takes a beating from the snow plow though.
That word up. The people hitting the red light probably take it anyway.
Right, so,
It's here and it's ready to be put up.
There is a yard there at the old mill property.
Right there at the corner where the stand
Yeah.
is set up.
In front of the, there's an old farm equipment rake there.
Yeah.
dump
Yeah,
rake
right
there.
past, right past. the garage.
I don't care where you put it, I just think that, I mean, it's out of right of way, you're gonna need some kind of permission or request from a property owner if that's what you choose to
do
do.
you wanna ask them there? I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
I think that'd
Yeah.
look nice there, and
I got a letter from Joan asking for permission to put the sign, it's not like it's an eyesore, I mean, it's a beautiful sign.
And
It's
send them a
just-
picture of the sign so that they,
So you're gonna have an expense, cause you're gonna have some posts you're gonna have to plant.
We're gonna have to cement some posts in, make some one calls, it's just, I feel like we gotta ask permission, it's outside of the right of way, we kinda gotta do some PR here before we
Well,
put
if
it
you're
up.
looking for a motion, I'll do a motion to ask for permission and whatever it costs to get those posts up. I mean, posts and concrete can't be.
I'd second that.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, county line ownership of Plumwood Mountain View area, update.
Did a letter ever go out? Did we send something to Honeybrook?
I don't know if with Eric. What's on contact?
Well, I know Jeff had talked to one of the supervisors. I know one of the supervisors had reached out to me about something else, and I talked to one of the supervisors over there. I think kind of where we stand, and I think Keith can agree with me on this, is that we just need something, what we're doing now is working, correct?
I put that in writing
Okay,
today.
so winter maintenance is working.
Winter maintenance is working.
Our concern is at the time a road needs to be dug up or torn up.
Maintain blacktop,
Stormwater.
whatever.
Who is gonna take care of that?
Stormwater structure, stormwater facility, that
So
sort of
this is
thing.
where I thought we got Eric involved, because we wanna get this stuff in writing, because they're still receiving liquid fuels for the road.
That's correct.
So they should actually be maintaining when it comes to that expense.
And they do, except for when he gets a hair up his butt and calls up and says, no, I'm not doing it anymore.
That was a one-time ordeal, and since we've come up with this agreement, things have worked well, but this is snow. And this is between Mr. Johnson or Don Johnson and myself, and it's been work.
Okay, so I'm okay, if that works for you guys and you have an agreement with, like that, I say we just maintain the winter maintenance the way it is, but we have to hash out the major jobs.
And that.
Well, what we're concerned about is that they don't change their mind, or if Don Johnson resigns in the next year or two, then the next guy comes in, might not be as understanding or willing. Well, at least we have something in writing between, like an intermunicipal agreement, more or less.
I agree, I just wrote down what the winter stuff has been in the past and what has worked. You reached out to a supervisor, Jeff reached out, and it really, it's above my
Right, now
skill to
they
make
reached out.
deals. So at this point, I feel like I'm out of it. You guys need to invite them here, try to call and get on their agenda.
We need to check with Eric. I really thought we left it with Eric, that he was gonna contact someone.
Eric Brown, Eric?
Yes,
Yeah, I'll
yes.
check it.
I don't have a problem, Keith, if you'd like to join me one night, maybe we could go to one of their meetings, or we can invite them to one of our meetings, that way we can say, hey, listen, this is what we're thinking.
Let's see
you
what
know.
Eric did, if Eric did anything with this yet. You know, we'll-
I mean, that's, I wrote this in writing just so that the board was, I mean, here it is, this is what we're doing. I didn't know if you wanted to go to try to prevent the surveying and all of the crazy expensive ways you could go about this. So that documentation of them taking dedication, that goes back to 1990.
We'll see what Eric has to say. SEO report. Library,
I think someone is supposed to be here from the library. Maybe not.
we have requested restroom supplies, approval for door locks and changing table.
So I gave you a picture of the door lock they want. They're gonna keep the men's and the women's restrooms as is because of zoning requirements and capacity or occupancy requirements. They can't do the separate one
They can't
for
do what they wanted to do.
employees and one for public. They can't do that. So I sent you a picture of what they would like purchase for locks. And it's the kind you put in use, not in use.
Right, so when they lock it, it says it's in use, when they don't lock it, it's, okay.
And then the change the table, I don't know, Keith, did they give you an idea of what they wanted?
I did a Google search of what was in the restrooms at the park. What I see in most places, you're looking at $200-ish. I'd say $225. I didn't go sneaking around for shipping and that. It was
For these
pretty good.
locks. And
No,
those
that was for the
locks,
changing table.
For
I
the
did not,
changing
I
table.
did not do
I need
anything with the
two.
locks.
So,
Two men change diapers too.
we're.
That's the problem. There is one in the ladies' room, but there's not in the men's.
So they just
So,
need one.
They need one.
this is stuff we're paying for, because we own the building, or is that,
Correct.
okay.
I'll make a motion for the door locks and change the table.
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Proposed garden changes and grant design proposal.
You didn't find,
I did not find it, I'll have to dig deeper, but
there, do you want me to give you that, or do you wanna wait till Joan finds the stuff from them?
Do you want?
he
Yeah.
said that something was sent to us that someone needs to look at it for a couple of reasons.
They wanna put an outside reading area in on the south side of the building. There's been some conversation between me and Miss Betts over there. I just encourage them, it's gotta be pitched away from the building, it's fairly flat, and I want the water to run away. They had visions of mulch the day I suggested that this needs to be concrete, once and done tight.
Right. I
Put some
thought-
picnic-
We
I thought
discussed
we
that last
discussed
time,
it the last
concrete,
meeting,
and we
is
were
where
gonna
we
mow
went.
it.
Well, this is the different, this is, when you go in the front door of the library, to the right-hand side, they wanna put an outdoor reading area in where that shed is, they're talking of painting a mural, I don't know, some kind of kid-friendly mural, throw some picnic tables down, and that's where they wanted to put the mulch, and I suggested today, I think given the drainage issues, it needs to be cement. That way I can pitch it, I don't have to put it in, replace it, touch it
Right.
again,
Let's
we
make
could
it-
splurge and put some colored concrete down, but not mulch, I just didn't like that. She used the words handicap accessible and mulch in the same word sentence,
Doesn't work.
and that didn't make sense to me. But that's what I suggested.
Okay.
The other side, the flower gardens and that sort of thing that we talked about the last time,
Plant grades.
Yeah.
I don't know that we can. I got some pricing here for $1,000. I've already sprayed it because the weeds were out of control. Due to drainage issues, my recommendation is just put weed mat and sprinkle some stone in there. So for $1,000, we put weed mat, we put stone down or an aggregate, and then spray with weed killer a couple times a year, and we're done. You wanna put flowers, you just put a bucket of flowers
I
there.
agree with that.
Right, that was an
That's-
issue with them cleaning up this stuff before.
Right,
So
it way overpowered them and it does it fast. That's, I
But
think
they're
this
relying
looks
on
better.
Volunteers.
Right.
You can't get them, it's gonna be
And-
overcrowded.
It would be hard to mow, it's gonna look bad, stones and some weed
So,
matting
yeah, they
would be
put
an
pots
improvement.
around.
I would agree with
trees
that.
and- or flowers.
Rudimentary was 3 ton of stone, $160. Or no, it was on more
Okay,
than
so
that.
do you want
You
Joe to
really
send?
you don't need permission to do that first, because that's below.
I don't need permission on account of the cost, it's because it's at the library and do you wanna engage in that or take that cost on? I'm looking for permission to do the work, not exactly the cost.
Well, it's gonna eliminate, so it's gonna cost us initially to put the mat down in stone, but it's gonna eliminate so much work from here on in the future,
For everyone.
for everyone. And it won't be an eyesore, it'll be
I'm
okay.
okay with it.
I mean, are there grants available for stuff like this?
Well,
There's some,
Freedom of
Yeah, but
that.
we're, I mean, we're not even talking about $1,000.
You're
but I
talking
mean, I'm
about-
talking-
you're-
I mean, we have that grant coming in, I mean, can we redo the bathrooms in there using that money? I mean, it's a public library, I
Yeah,
feel like.
can we update the library with some of that money?
Well, it's all about COVID mitigation, is that mean the rescue fund?
Yeah, I mean, it's a way to, I mean, a lot of our people that don't have internet from our community go there, that could be a way for us to communicate with them through the internet, because we offer free internet there, right?
And
I mean, can't we
education.
put anything into the library from that grant? I mean, that,
Well, actually, why couldn't we do the stone? Because of COVID, we wanna be able to have everyone outside.
yeah, can we
I mean,
look
how
into
far
that?
can we
Maybe we
take
can
that?
get some stuff from that grant for that.
I'm willing to do anything.
I can do the
I'm-
concrete, stone and everything.
Can we
The-
check in to see what we can get covered from the library?
That children's outside reading area is already grant funded
Okay.
from the
Okay.
county and the state level.
All right.
They were looking to come in here with pitchforks and picks and axes to dig this.
Yeah, no.
And
right.
I suggest, I just told her that I'd be willing to help her with the township backhoe or even to haul the stone. They just need to put the request before you guys so that you all know what we're doing.
I'm fine with you helping to get that in place.
Well,
It's our community library, so I mean, let's do what we can to make it look
And if we
good.
could use some of that, yeah, that is a very good
Right,
question,
and see if
because
we can use any money to help out further
Mhm.
with the grant money.
So when we do the 2022 budget, that'll be the time, because you did your resolution tonight,
Right.
we're spending rescue funds this year.
So we have to use it or lose it, right?
Not this year.
Not this year.
You actually have until 2026.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
it was, we had that
No, no, no,
2 years
I-
to use
We
it
had to
up.
hand in an idea, I think, or,
Mike, send that letter to the library to tell them that we got that rescue fund and they should, like the rest of the departments, come up with sort of a wish list with a priority.
right,
There you go.
And let them bring that
and then
to,
we'll check.
they've
and
gotta
see.
be here at the budget meeting in November because
Okay.
that's when it's decided.
So,
Okay, good point.
if you just send an email, just give them a heads up so they can start preparing to see if there's anything that we can, that they need, that we can use that money for. Sure.
And then mechanical wise too, if there's something we can kind of get in that, you know that more than they do.
Well, we've already discussed the other heater and air conditioning unit needs to be
I know, that's
replaced.
what I mean, so
And-
whatever
and-
might need it there.
I have to
So,
reach
yeah.
out for HEPA filters or something for that.
Right, due to COVID, we want clean
Right.
air, we need a new,
Right, that, but we're pushing that off to the 2022
Okay.
version.
all right. Are we done on that subject then?
I am.
Okay. Tax collector report. Police department.
You have the monthly activity report before you. 588 calls for service, 42 traffic citations, 12 criminal arrests, 4,925 miles. You see by the investigations, arrests, several retail thefts, incidents and/or arrests between several different business locations. Theft of a trailer at the Classic Auto Mall. Also a theft of a firearm that was left in a vehicle overnight hours. The gentleman apparently likes to leave it that way on Mill Road. And the last but least was a incident that occurred around 6:30 on the 31st of August, which was a report of a stabbing on Quarry Road. Within probably about 20 minutes, we were able to determine, due to the alertness of a police officer from another jurisdiction hearing what happened and the flash information that went out of the radio about the suspect and the vehicle. He looked at our call and was able to see the name of the caller, who had drove from Quarry Road to Morgantown Beverage, where the officer met and the EMS, she was stabbed. Young lady has mental health issues. The officer was able to alert us from a different jurisdiction of this issue. So within 20 minutes, we were able to establish that this was not a true crime. She was transported. The detective interviewed her at the hospital. She admitted to making it up. We've gotten her some mental health issues, help and stuff like that. So that's why there was no big to do about it and stuff like that. Also,
I have a question on that. Why don't we see that on Crime Watch? I only see a few shoplifters at the Walmart. I don't see anything, these are things that we should know, so we know what's going on in our community.
that was not posted because we knew it was false right away within
False.
20
What
minutes.
about the other things that you were saying?
What other
The other, all the other, incidents? The only thing I saw were a couple things about Walmart. What about these other arrests that you're making and all this that you're doing?
We're trying to update our Crime Watch program, our social media page, to get more officers involved. Right now, when I took over, there was one officer involved in putting that stuff out, so that had to wait for that particular officer to be on duty to address those, you know.
How long is
updates.
this gonna take? 'Cause the reason you left is there was stacks of paperwork that you had not done 8 years ago, and they were complaining about that. Now you're pushing this off on someone else, and you're the chief.
Patty,
When is this going to be resolved, that we can
This is
see what's
off
going
topic,
on?
we're,
Yeah.
stay on topic, please.
Well, I'm asking why these things are
It's
not.
being addressed.
Because we pay
Okay.
our officers to go out and
And the other
patrol,
thing-
we pay our officers to go out and patrol the community, not to sit on social media and post stuff just so you know what's going on.
It only takes a second.
It does, but if they have calls,
For you, but if they're busy, it's not, it takes more than a second. It
It's
takes them
being
away-
addressed. It
It
will
may
be
take
How
them
addressed.
about
away from
Teresa?
coming to your
How
house to
about
help you.
Teresa, the administrator?
She doesn't do anything, she just drinks coffee and waits for Facebook to turn off.
Oh, yeah.
She's busy too.
Yeah, I know she is.
He
I know
said-
what she does. I've
he
been here.
explained to you that he is
Okay.
working on this, it's getting
Okay.
updated.
And the other thing, having coffee with a cop, Turkey Hill is in Lancaster County.
Wawa.
That's-
okay.
No, it's Turkey Hill. It's where my son works at Turkey Hill. Is it Turkey Hill?
you know, it's a while.
Across from Wawa. Okay, they're both in Lancaster County. Why are we going to Lancaster
They were
County?
invited there.
That
They were
is-
invited.
That was not our event.
Okay,
We are in the process of having several events, which are not released yet because we have not finalized all the dates. That event, just like the two events this weekend that we attended, we were invited. That one is Wawa's National Cup of Coffee with Cops. So we were going, we're gonna have an officer or two stop. Yes, that is in Lancaster. I did speak
funny
to the
'cause-
chairperson.
do you go to Turkey, do you patrol that area?
They do emergency
I'm
response.
just
right?
emergency. My son works at Turkey Hill at 10 at night till 6 in the morning for the past 5 months. Never saw one cop in there from East Earl or here. Nowhere. Never.
East Earl?
Easter, they have
Or
states.
that's who
They
is,
states.
that's who he said that the cop.
That is incorrect.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
there is no
states.
cop, there are no police in Carnarvon, Lancaster.
That is correct.
Right.
So it's state police.
It's Pennsylvania State Police out of the Lancaster Barracks.
So really,
That
nobody
covers
is
that.
patrolling that area then.
Correct.
State
We
police.
don't need to
That's it.
patrol that area.
Well,
It's not
just
our
to
area.
clarify, officers probably do pass by because we have to go onto Swamp Road to get to part of the township. So we have to go up 23 and turn on it. So to say that officers don't drive by there would probably be a lie. Not that I'm saying he's lying, but are they going through the parking lot? Probably not, because it's not our jurisdiction.
It's okay, cause I'm the police officer going by when my son is working.
Okay, but again, and the other problem is, we don't have jurisdiction on either of those two properties. We have to be contacted, and I'll give you a prime example. Friday afternoon, I received a phone call reference to something at the Twin Valley Elementary Center, which is right over the line into Elverson Borough. They wanted police response, or the state police responding, and it was not a life or death situation. Yes, state police were responding. All right, have them call. We need them to call us to get the legal authority to respond onto that property. Just like where your son's working, Turkey Hill or Wawa, we would need the state police to say to us, which they have over the years, reached out for us and said, can you assist us respond to a situation? And a prime example, several years ago, we were first to respond up on Twin County Road to a murder situation, took the person in custody until the state police got there, we committed the murder, we made the arrest. So the same thing, but yes, we're probably going by it. Do we drive through the parking lot? Probably not. You know, are we driving through the parking lot at Wawa? Probably not. You know, do they stop? I was listening to Turkey Hill the other day getting gas. You know, so on my personal.
Yeah,
you know,
but I'm talking, he works in the middle of the night,
Right.
and nobody's,
And, you know,
Okay. I
unfortunately,
just wanted
like
to
you
know
said,
if
yeah,
you were
but East
invited.
Earl has nothing to do with this area. Yeah, they
not
would
this
always,
area, but that's the area that would come there if the state police didn't.
no, it's not.
That's what the manager said to me at
That's
Turkey Hill.
incorrect.
Okay, I just texted her, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
that would be
Not correct,
correct.
okay, all
So
right,
you
You
can
know,
continue with your.
okay, go ahead.
we had several other community events during the course of the month that we attended, or were invited to. We had some training. You also see on there the detective's activities for the month, the violations that he's handling. Also, we're trying to do more with the traffic complaints. We've been receiving traffic complaints with reference to Main and Morgantown Road about red lights, North Street about the stop signs and speeding, Willow Glen about the speeding, so we are starting to monitoring those locations. Officer Tranovich has now been assigned to take over the speed sign so we can get it out in more locations throughout the community on a regular rotation. And maintenance department actually just added some signposts for us, so we had areas that we could not put it in, and we're having complaints, so we're working with them, so that's being put out. And out of the enforcement efforts during the course of the month, we stopped 65 vehicles for the month. 42 of those 65 vehicles got citations, but as you will see, the rest either got verbal warnings or written ones. So we are still making stuff, we are still working with people that are driving through. Not everybody's getting a traffic ticket for driving. You see the vacation checks, and we're doing the business checks and stuff like that during the course of the month. We're also monitoring the school bus stop and following the school buses in and around the community now, trying to work with them, and actually I'll be reporting on something that we will be doing next month with the school buses. So that's another thing. The other thing, which was us brought about, was the coffee with the cop. The other thing is the police department's going to be getting more involved with some community involved events. One of the things we're going to do for October, and this is no cost to the community, this is the officers stepping up and doing this. We are having some pink shoulder patches made up As you know, October is the breast cancer awareness, and we're having some T-shirts made up, again, with the pink ribbons. We are gonna be selling them, and all profits from the sales will go directly to somebody in the community that may be in need or suffering from breast cancer, or if we can't find somebody, we're gonna make it to some type of cancer society. But no funds are being paid for by the township, it's all being handled by the officers. So it's us, our way of giving back something to the community.
Awesome, thank you.
Also, you have received some information reference to the SWIFT Reach 911 system. It's a program, I guess a couple of years ago, you talked about having some way of communicating with our residents in a timely manner. Roads closed, tornado, power, flooding, turnpike, whatever. I made some inquiries. You can get like Code Red, which is a program that, prime example, Exeter Township paid $10,000 to have. This other program is through Berks County DES. We would get residents to sign up for this program. They can get alerts via email, text messages, phone calls for various things, whether it's weather or storm, whatever. We would send the messages out ourselves. We would have an administrator to do it. Cost for us to get involved is no cost, zero, because it's all being funded through the Berks County Department of Emergency Services. So I like permission to move forward with that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion second, all those in favor? Aye.
Now, just to clarify to the people out here, it's very similar to the school setup, if you're familiar with that, where you actually fill out paperwork at the beginning of the school year, and you can't get on the system unless you fill out the paperwork. So this would be something that people would have to sign up for it. We looked into it, Joan actually looked into it a while ago, it was, I think. Didn't you? Yeah, I mean, you used it at your last job, I think, but I remember you looked into it, and we never really did anything with it, but, we can take separate, like, Mountaineer Village, if we have an issue with the trees up there, we can segregate and say, okay, we could just send a mass mailing out to Mountaineer Village, or Penwood down here, we have an issue with the walking trail, we can just separate it and just put Penwood on it, so definitely a decent system. It's gonna take a while to get everybody signed up on it, but I think that we get moving with it. And once it's up and running and everybody gets used to it, I think it'll be fine.
Are they gonna have time to do this on a computer? Because I know you said people can't, take time to do the computer work.
This is between the county.
I know, I'm just
And
saying.
you.
Yeah.
Being
Anything else on that system?
No, ma'am.
All right.
4, skip over for today. I follow up some things with Eric.
Okay.
And number 5, the no parking ordinance review. With working with Keith, this has multiple tentacles now, because what we're looking at is not only issues with no parking this side, we need some no parking here at the corner issues, we need some updates to stop sign ordinances. We have some issues with speed limits that need to be updated, that have not been updated, so report to follow up on that too.
Do you work for the community or against the community? I'm just curious. I'd like to
Zoning
know.
code
your-
enforcement
I
officer.
work for the community.
For the community and the people.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's good.
I just wanted to say thank you to the police department.
Oh,
I've seen
excellent.
a lot more police presence since Paul came on, and being on my bus run, a big change in people running my red lights because they're out there patrolling. So I want to say thank you, Paul.
Next time we end at the end of the meeting.
Sorry.
Okay, zoning code enforcement. Anything?
In the monthly report, I think everything was covered. As far as the Brittany Boulevard weeds enforcement, that was the grass filling area we were talking about earlier, so that citation was issued. The issue at the corner of Hertzler, I believe it was 83, where the millings were placed over there, that because of the zoning issue had to be a civil complaint. The court date for that one has been scheduled, which is October 15th. So that one moving forward, the date set, and then Valley Pond. We discussed that the base work's been continuing, and they've got contracts to work.
Was anything done out here on Main Street with the apartments here? Because during that storm, there was mud coming out of the front of that, like something fierce.
I mean, whenever I know it